Everyone, to another edition of Cards and Coffee here on Gore Made Break. Before we get started, I need to give a very special shout out to the following Patreon members: Barry K with Cards for Daze, Justin Moeller, Mitch Smith, Tommy White with Relic Nation, Jeff Ruoff, Shane W with Oddball Cards, Michael P with Bass and Ball Cards, James Palmer, Tom Edwards, Paul Curry, Dwight with Clark Sports Cards, Ron James, Jonathan H of Autistic Family Collectibles, and Darren C with Comfort Cards. Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday morning, our usual time for Cards and Coffee. Lewis and Shaka, how are you two doing this morning? Going to do a few things this morning. I don't anticipate this being a terribly long video, but hopefully it will be a useful one. Barry K and Dwight, good morning to you gentlemen as well. Hopefully it will be a useful video and one we can perhaps relate back to in the future for any questions that might need to be gone over. David Henderson, good morning. Typing in the screen went small. You were going to be first, and then Lewis snaked you due to a computer malfunction. Well, hopefully you guys are doing well. It is a gray and rainy day out here, but that is fine because I've got to stay inside anyway. So no complaints there. At least I'll feel less lazy about being inside. Cool Cena, good morning, buddy. Or good afternoon, I guess, out your way. If you guys could smash that thumbs up button, that'd be fantastic. And before we get started on the what the title of the video is, I'm going to just do a little show again for those of you that were not here yesterday and or missed the part of the video that had this. I am going to show there are 6 main hits in tonight's break. Then I'm going to show just kind of a sampling of what I was referring to when I was talking about having some vintage type stuff in there. And then I will get to the discussion about the auction how-tos. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with tonight's break hit cards. This is going to go live right after this video is over. So card number 1, we've got the Keston Hira rated prospect out of 125 auto. 2018 Bowman's Best, Carter Keyboom auto. We got the Optic autograph, Daryl Strawberry auto. Out of Topps Archive Signature Series, we've got the Dylan Cease auto. Number 10 out of only 25, the Juan Soto Diamond King auto. And lastly, Collegiate National Team Relic auto, Adley Rushman, numbered out of 199. Hey, Terry. Okay, guys, so we got these 6 are going to be in the 45 packs tonight. This is a guarantee. These are in there. You got pretty good odds of getting a pretty sweet auto. Now, some of the other cards that are going to be in there tonight, and these are definitely in there, and there'll be more like this. All right. So let me get these ready for you. Typically, I just have a lot of modern cards in there. Today, I'm mixing in some vintage type stuff. 82 Don Russ, Lee Smith, Tom Seaver, and Mike Schmidt. Again, all 82 Don Russ. We got 1980 Topps, Robin Yount. 85 Leaf, Nolan Ryan. Vladdy Sr., rookie. 86 Don Russ, Paul O'Neill, rookie. 86 Fleer, Roger Clemens. 82 Don Russ, George Brett, Diamond King. 86 Topps, Ozzy. 86 Topps traded, John Kruk. 84 Don Russ, George Brett, and 84 Don Russ, Tony Gwynn. Chicken card, needs no explanation. 82 Fleer, Dave Stewart. Star Power, Ken Griffey Jr., 85 Don Russ, Cal Rip Jr., 82 number one draft pick, Shawan Dunston. Rated rookie, Gary Sheffield, 89 Don Russ. You've got the Pudge Rodriguez, Fleer Ultra rookie, and one of the most iconic future star cards ever, the Raffy Palmeiro out of 87 Tops. Again, that's not all. That's just kind of what I was referring to when I said I was going to put some vintage type stuff in there as well. And of course, there's always going to be a twist. So there's going to be something in those packs that I'm not going to sell it based on, but I'm just going to leave it as a surprise, and hopefully you are happy with it. So, moving on to the next thing. I've got a lot of people asking about auctions and stuff like that. Those of you that have been around since the beginning, yes, modern in there as well, Dwight. Just vintage mixed in. So a lot of people have been asking about auctions. Those of you that have been around since the beginning probably remember how the whole auction thing started, and why I have never put them in the tiers. And that was because it was an ambitious thing to try to host auctions for folks. And again, you guys are getting 100% of that money. So I've never taken any money from that. And I've always said, as long as it was feasible, I will keep doing it. And fast forward to right now, and we are dealing with the coronavirus and germies and cooties everywhere. So in the interest of being, safe, I had to postpone the next month's auctions. Now, typically what we've done is week 1 was your $15.99 guys, week 2 was 25 and 35, and the third week of the month was your 59 and 99 guys. Week 4 was me. It just so happened that March had 5 Sundays. So as of this point, we have been going on the regular auction schedule. Nobody's auctions have been missed or skipped. And I think people are starting to think that I have stopped auctions. Not at all the case. And quite frankly, haven't actually even missed anything. The schedule is completely on track with the way that it has always been. Now, in the interest of safety, I said I was going to postpone them until we got a little bit of safety / clarity on this whole Corona thing, because that's a lot of handled product coming into like my actual home, where my daughter, my wife, and whatnot, and quite frankly, I don't want to get sick either. So, giving it some thought, and knowing that you guys do enjoy the auctions, I enjoy them as well. I need to find some way to not only make it safe, but somehow get back to normal. Which again, we haven't missed anything, so I do want to reiterate that, like, we have not missed any auctions yet. But I do want to have some kind of plan moving forward, so that we can stay relatively normal and not let this virus thing just derail everything that we find fun. Along with that, I do get a lot of feedback from folks in regards to the auctions, and I'm going to try to address that today, all the while trying to save you guys some money at the same time. All right. So this could be something to look back on in the future. As far as if you're ever getting yourself ready to send stuff in for an auction again, and I do want to get back to them. So if you guys want to chime in as far as improvement type stuff you'd like to see in auctions, by all means, today would be the day to do it. Almost a Q&A style thing. I will address what I hear from you. Again, this isn't me just making it up in my head, but what I hear from you is the speed is it's more interesting and less likely for people to tune out. And that's when there are lulls in the auction. So first thing that we're going to go over today is this is how the cards need to come to me. Most of you at this point have got your shipments. They've arrived to you. And you realize that most of the time, the cards within your shipments are coming in boxes like this, right? This is kind of what you're getting for the most part. You might get 300 count boxes. You might get 400 count boxes. You might get 330 count boxes. What you guys need to realize, like this kind of stuff does not happen by accident. Okay. So, hey, Kevin. Yes, it is, David. So these are all different. They might not seem that different, but they are. You'll notice one is slightly longer than another. You'll notice one is slightly taller than another, and they are used on purpose. So the reasoning for that is different things will fit into different boxes. A 300 count box, I can generally lay down a slabbed card in there. A slabbed card will not fit in a 330 count box. They are too long. Okay. Which means then I would need to put that either separate or in a 400 count box, which starts to throw off other things. Also, card savers don't tend to fit terribly well into things. Now, the other thing, as Terry said, multiple card lots, kill it, one, buy it, and losing money. That's definitely true with multiples of the same card. They tend to be given away. Now, here's an example of a lot. All right. Now, this would be a fairly typical lot that we see. Okay. 3 cards. So not an overwhelming amount of cards. They make total sense. You've got 3 Hall of Famers, all 82 Don Russ, right? Like this is something you could definitely see being presented in an auction from one of you. There are 3 cool cards, right? Nothing wrong with that. They all make sense. But the reality is, hey, Joe, the reality is somebody's going to buy this and they are going to want maybe the Mike Schmidt and the Tomm Seaver, and they're probably going to wind up giving away 1 or 2 of these cards. That is what we've seen in every auction, which then leads to probably a 3 to 4 minute delay of stopping to bag these up. So in the future, what I need you guys to do is just buy a bag of team bags. Okay. 100 bags in a pack. You can buy this once on Amazon. You get free shipping. Probably cost you about $5. I picked these up obviously for $3.50 from my card shop. But you probably find them for about $5 with free shipping on Amazon. Maybe you can package together a few things and get it all sent to you once. You buy it one time and you leave it at your house for the next 3 or 4 months. Maybe you already have it. I don't know. So for future reference, the cards, if you're going to make a lot, they need to be in their own team bag. Okay. It'll save you from having to use blue tape because the card's there's nowhere for it to go, right? You guys hear that sound, and I know you hear me doing it during auctions all the time. So this is one thing you can do for me if you really want auctions to continue. I need you guys to work with me to help speed it up. So we got these 3, and then in something like this, a graded card sleeve. These are obviously much larger. Same price, basically. 100 sleeves in here. So you take one of those, And if this is my lot 1, toss them all in there and send it to me like this. That way, when they sell, and let's say Drake is like, hey, give that Lee Smith to Paul. All I've got to do, take the card out, Paul from Drake, boom, I'm done, and I can move on. You guys won't get bored, and the auction can go a lot faster. Now, let's say you got all your cards packed up, okay? I'm noticing you guys sending me stuff, and I can see the shipping costs on there, and you guys are, yeah, Shaka, there are these ones. This is a different brand. So the BCW team bag set and the Ultra Pro team bag set. The only thing that these are is they're a lot taller, but they don't necessarily fit more cards. About 3 top-loaded cards would fit in this, but mostly these are just shorter. I did that same thing. Like, they seem like they're a graded team bag. These work great for one-touched cards. These one-touched cards are in these team bag sets. I don't put them in these anymore because, as you can see, it leaves like this just huge flap on the end. I'm a little OCD, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't expect anyone else to like care as much as I do with this kind of stuff, but it leaves a ton of plastic hanging off the sides, and then the team bag gets all wrinkled up, and then your card looks like crap. But these BCW ones, they fit pretty snugly, and they look nicer, in my opinion. Anyway, what's happening is I'm seeing you guys send me stuff, and I'm seeing your shipping costs that you're sending it to me, and some of you guys are spending 13, 15, 20, 30 bucks to send stuff. So I'm going to show you right now what needs to happen, and this is just good advice in general. Obviously, I had to go through a very steep learning curve to send you guys stuff because we ship probably 60 items every time we ship something. And I didn't know what I was doing at all in the beginning, and we had to learn very quickly how to get the most bang for the buck. This also is going to relate to getting back on track with the whole virus outbreak. Okay, now I'm just going to add some more cards. So let's say that you're going to send me all of these as your auction cards, or maybe you're sending in gifts, as some of you do. I need to be able to get these into other people's packages without it necessarily causing a huge issue. If you can send the cards in sleeves only and then team bagged by person, that works great because that still fits in the box and it doesn't take up any extra space. When the cards are shipped in top loaders, they don't fit, which means we're now like having to do that, or we can lay it across the top, which works well, but you can really only fit a couple with the cards in the box. All right. Card savers, they're too long and they become hard to package. So top loaders or penny sleeves from now on. Otherwise, it's costing other folks a lot of money because it doesn't ship well. Okay, so there's that. Take all of your stuff. Put it in a 300 count box. You can use a 400 count box. You can even use 2 300 count boxes. Okay. I need them in something. Like a container inside a container. Now, you can also go to your post office and you can grab these. These are small flat rate boxes. They are free. you don't want to spend $1 a piece on these, I get it. Most of you probably have a bunch of these now because you've gotten shipments from me. Okay, so maybe you've been saving them, but they are about $1 a piece. If you go to a card store trying to buy these on Amazon or something, they get really expensive unless you buy a huge bulk lot of them. But save them if you're getting them from me and then use them again. If you don't, you threw them away or they're being used, go grab these. These are small priority mails, okay? You can fit your cards in there, and then they have an extra layer of protection. Enter the padded envelope. Now, most of your post offices have these, but they are behind the counter. They're not in the self-serve area. You can ask for them. It is a flat rate envelope, priority mail, any weight. You can take your cards that are in here, and these will fit inside your padded envelope. Okay? You can even take 2. And now I've got 600 cards inside my padded flat rate envelope. Seal it down, put my label on, and now I can ship all of this for just over like $8. Okay? This is like $8. Done. Put bricks in there. $8 and you're good, and I'll probably get it in a day or 2. Now, to make it even more convenient for you, I have included a link in the description of this video. This link is hard to find, so I included it for you. Copy and paste it and bookmark it into your browser, whatever you want to call it, so that you don't lose it. Because if you just try to go to PayPal, you will not find it. Okay? And yeah, Drake, you can order. I have a box of these that was sent to me from the post office for free. So in these kind of crazy times, maybe you don't want to go to your post office, which again, I don't want to. That's why I put a hold on things. You can get it to me. Okay? I mean, I'm sorry. You can get these to your house in like orders of like 25. You can get these sent to your house. You can get medium flat rate boxes, large flat rate boxes, all sent to your house, all for free. Just order them ahead of time, because sometimes it takes 3 days, sometimes it takes 2 weeks. I don't know your situation, but that's what it is. Okay, now go to that link. It'll pop you up to PayPal. Most of you already operate on PayPal, and you can generate a shipping label. All of the stuff we've shipped to you has come done the same exact way. The prices appear to be the exact same as stamps.com, only you're not paying a fee for it. Okay, so that will get you in your house able to do this. All right, now, Corona message. My hesitation with continuing the auctions with 0 break is you at home. I mean, I have reason to trust you. You guys have been all part of the Patreon family for a while now. And I don't think that you would endanger my daughter, my wife, myself. However, you might be the cleanest person in the world, but you are going to take this and you are going to hand it off to some postal worker who's going to hand it off to some other postal worker. It's going to go in some grimy truck. It's going to get traveled across the country, touched by I don't know how many hands, how many containers. You understand what I'm saying here, right? I don't know. And that's my hesitation for having, let's say on a lightweight auction, I've got 10 people, and then figure 5 additional people will handle that thing. I've now got, 500 fingerprints and germs coming into my house with my daughter. All right. So what I'm going to say, and Terry, I am, and thank you for at least, being understanding here. I'm going to give you guys, let's say, a week or two to get your supplies in order. Okay, get your supplies in order, because I'm going to ask again, just work with me to keep auctions going. If you truly do like them, you've got to work with me on them, because again, they were never, they're not a part of any tier. I hate to sound like a negative Nancy about it, but it was always just if I can manage it, I'll do it. But I've pretty blatantly said I'm not going to put it in a tier, because if I can't do it, I don't want you feeling like, hey, look, it says right there I paid for that. All right. Now, if you send it to me like this and you have it in containers like that, really the only nasty thing is the outside. So what I'll do to work with you is I'll glove up, mask up, put a hazmat suit on. I'll get this outside of my home. Okay. Germies go outside, and then I'll take this out. All right. And then that way, you to me are the only people that will have touched the inner container. Again, it doesn't add any money to you, because most of you already have these from me. If you don't want to spend any money, you got this. Probably need to use alcohol, Kevin Tan. You can probably wipe just some hand sanitizer gel on it. Here. There's a team bag. Here's a Sharpie. We'll give that a second. Anyway, I don't want Gore touching my inner container. I appreciate that. Okay. So that's dry. That's another thing. That's another thing, guys, where if you're going to reuse a bag, please, it needs to get all the writing off there, because I've had a few come in where one side of the bag, let's say I'm just going to, Oliver, you're the last one to comment. So let's say it was Oliver's cards and they got sent to Oliver, and then Oliver sends in cards for an auction. And so one side of the bag says Oliver, and then on the back side, we sell it to Terry, and then it says Terry on the back. You can imagine when we go to package these, and it's like, is it Oliver's or is it Terry's? Because it might have been 3 weeks since, that thing happened, that it gets very, very confusing. Okay, so this does come off. It's not, oh no, it comes off. All right, well, there's our little science experiment. So if you want to reuse a team bag, you can simply rub hand sanitizer on it, and you can get the writing off of it. You can also just use straight alcohol, and that, again, that was with, permanent marker. So there's that. Mystery solved on that one. Okay. Yep, just plain old rubbing house alcohol, or, maybe a drop or two from your favorite adult beverage. All right. Questions? Any questions? That's right. Using technology, Kevin. Use moonshine. Now, the other things that just kind of help the auctions go faster, and you guys have been in this situation where you're the one buying the cards, It does help if I have your PayPal address. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just handwrite it so that I can have it there, so that people aren't constantly going, "Who do I pay?" or "Whose cards are these?" It just makes it easier. So, do we all kind of get this is the new way that I need things to be done so we can move through these with some speed, okay? So, top loaders only. Team bag each card, and then toss them in a graded team bag. You can get all of this stuff on Amazon. You can get it all with free shipping. Okay. It's, you might invest in it one time, and there's other brands out there. Cardboard Gold is a good one. You're going to buy this stuff one time. And in regards to auctions, you can do whatever you want. You can put your cards in socks when they're yours and they're in your PC. But in regards to auctions, you would buy this stuff once and you would probably have it for 3 months worth of auctions. And, you're spending $2-3 for your auction to run well. And I think, honestly, and this is just me, I don't bid on the auctions, as I've explained, but I think you guys would get more bang for your buck with your cards if you could keep the audience engaged more. And that is only going to happen if we keep it moving. All right. The longer the dwell, the more people get up to go to the bathroom, the more they get up to get something to drink, the more they get distracted, their kids, their dog, their parrots eating their cards, whatever the case is. So the faster you can get through it, the more money you make ultimately, and the more fun everybody has watching the auction, which I think is also a big portion of it. We get a lot of views on those auctions, and that's because it's exciting. But when it's long dwells in between, it's not exciting. All right. Now the next thing, and this is going to be an uncomfortable thing to bring up. However, this is the number one biggest complaint that I get. I'm not going to say who's saying it. I'm not going to say who they're saying it about or whatever. But the obvious idea with the auction is I want to see some interesting cards. I want to see some interesting cards that I don't have or can't get easily. So I'm not going to tell you, hey, don't send that in. But realize if I've got, let's say, I know that there's a bunch of George Brett fans in here. All right. I'm just going to use this as an example. We've got several big George Brett fans, right? So let's just imagine, I mean, this is a cool card, don't get me wrong. But let's say this is a George Brett rookie card, and I've got 3 or 4 people who want to buy your George Brett. But they've got to sit through an hour of this. By the time George Brett rolls around, that dude's sleeping. You know what I mean? So the cards leading up to that card, that when you're getting it ready to go, and you're like, this is going to be a cool card, people are going to love this card, make sure that they're still engaged by the time they get to it. So I've put it in the sign up that you guys really should talk to each other just to make sure that, not every single person of that night. Terry, that's probably the best way to say it. Make sure that you're talking to the other folks make sure you're talking to the other folks, because this George Brett might be a hit card that night. And let's say that there are 3 George Brett fans. Now, let's say one of those guys isn't there that night, and all 3 people send in this George Brett. Well, eventually there's going to be nobody left for it, where you could have sent in a different card and made your auction more meaningful that night. So don't hesitate to talk to each other so your auctions aren't running over each other. Again, just ask yourself, why am I saying this? I'm not getting anything for this, right? I'm just trying to help you have a better auction. And if I've got, let's say, 10 lightweights and they all send in the same Yordan Alvarez rookie card, I would hate to be the last guy in line, because you're going to get pennies. You know what I mean? And a lot of people will say, well, I don't care about that. I just want people to have good cards. I understand that. And I'm not saying that, you've got to squeeze every last drop of blood from that stone kind of a thing. But just on an enjoyable factor, nobody wants to watch the same thing 10 times in a row. So talk to each other. Make sure that you're thinking it through. You have a lot of fans who like certain teams, but there might only be one of those people. So if that person's not in the room, be prepared that that card might not go for very much. Make it easy on me to be able to then give the card to the next person so that your auction goes smoothly and quickly. Make sure you're taking advantage of shipping options that you have. There's no sense in spending $25 to ship me cards, because it's just eating into the potential money that you could make. All right. Any other questions? And Dwight, let me read that. It's good for the community. So I say, if it's not done this way, I'll send the cards back to the person or charge the Patreon for extra supplies. And yeah, I'm not charging. And trust me, guys, trust me, I'm definitely, I try to filter myself, because once it leaves my mouth and it's in a video, it's going to be there for people to overanalyze what I said and try to read into it and man, Gore's being a dick this morning. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to just make it better. And so I don't want to say that, well, when I open your cards and I realized that you didn't do any of the things that I asked, that I'm going to box them up and send them back to you. I'm also not going to say that's not my first thought, is that's what I want to do. But I realize, that would be rude, so I don't do that. However, if you know, hey, look, I'm not going to have time to do that, I'd rather pay you to do it, then that's a different story. But just try to follow this thing. Again, work with me. If you really like having these auctions, I don't think it's unreasonable to just ask that you work with me to help facilitate them and make them better. In the end, it only benefits you. Can we talk about reserves? I feel that if you're looking for a certain amount for a card, this is the wrong platform for it. Just my opinion. Reserves slow down the auction if it doesn't sell. I will say, Kevin, I completely agree with you that it does slow down the auctions. And I'll say this because I've seen it happen before. And you realize Michael, we're just doing little auction questions and Q&A. So here's something that I see happen that I really don't like when I see it, because I feel like it disrespects other folks. I am a realist, and I do get that we all want to save money and we all want to get a good deal. Now, let's say, for instance, and Kevin, this is just in terms of reserves. Let's say, for instance, one of you sends in this Adley Rushman auto, and somebody bids $1, right? Somebody bids $1. Most of the time, if I don't read that bid that somebody bid $1, it's because I kind of find it insulting. And I also realize that there is a general progression in auctions where all you're really trying to do is beat the other person. So if somebody bids $1 for an Adley Rushman autograph, then the obvious next bid is $2. We are now wasting time crawling up from $1. Um, and so Kevin, the reserve being kind of a mystery, it can slow down the auctions. I 100% agree with you. I do think perhaps the starting bid, who said that? Somebody said starting bids, Dwight. The starting bid, I think, could be the alternative, similar to eBay. I mean, eBay's done auctions way longer than I've done auctions. So I'm not going to pretend that I came into the game and know how to do it better than an auction site. I do think that the starting bid kind of is the reserve. And so maybe the starting bid is the better option than the private reserve. But when you have to start off from $1, it kind of derails everything. And then I could see there being a person at home, and I'll just come right out with it. There have been a number of slabbed cards, PSA, Beckett, whatever. There's been a number of cards that folks have sent in that have gone for less money than it would have cost to even have the card graded. And it's not my card. It's not my money. But I'm sitting there going like, oh, man, that hurts. And the person is generally a good sport about it. Like, oh, hey, good deal. Congrats. But I feel bad passing that card along for $5 when it's a slabbed PSA card. So maybe starting bid would be a better choice than a reserve. That way it's not a mystery. If you want to get into it at that starting point, or you don't. And then if it doesn't go for more than the starting bid, then hey, that's on the seller, and too bad. Yeah. So Michael, I think we're all kind of in agreement here. Like, no one reasonable is expecting you to give away a Juan Soto autograph for $5. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, yes, that might be where the bid ended, but do you really expect somebody to do that? I do not. I think that that's kind of crazy. Well, I mean, Dwight, I know I've said this before about like me not feeling bad. I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna feel bad that, Terry's Zion had a little ding in it. I'm gonna feel bad that Tomm got 1 out of 2 autos, and I'm gonna feel bad if you guys don't get what I think is appropriate money. But that's why this channel is what it is, because I do give a damn. And I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there who will not give a damn about you. I can't turn it off, so I will care. I just can't help it. But I mean, I appreciate the sentiment. I can't help it. So that's why I'm doing this, to try to like mitigate that. You get the idea. So there's only a certain amount that I can do. Beyond that, and then I just leave it to like, okay, I did put the information out there, and if it wasn't taken, it wasn't taken. So starting bids, we need them so that, number one, you get what at least is a baseline fairness for your card. Number two, there's no point in starting out a card like this at $1. It just throws everything off, and it's an auction, so it's not even like wrong that it started off at $1 and then it went to $2, because that's how auctions work. But remember, guys, these are people that you spend every Saturday night with, Wednesdays and Fridays and Sundays. There's a person behind that screen name. So try to be fair, you know. I mean, they knew what they were getting into with sending cards in for an auction, and who doesn't want a good deal, right? That's just plain human nature. But these are not eBay, you know, nameless people. These are people you're going to spend the next few weeks hanging out with. Take that for what it's worth. But yeah. So, what else in regards to auctions? And then I have another thing to go over, and that is in regards to Sunday morning type videos. I agree, Terry. I do think that this is probably, I mean, if not, this is the closest group of people that I've seen in any internet chat community, card community, whatever. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Might want to address the free giving during an auction. I think last week, um, things were dramatically faster. And that came down to, if I want to sell, you know, I want to sell this card, this is being auctioned, and then I'm going to tack on my Marky Boy Simmons backyard dumper card as a bonus. The fact that it was already worked out made it go extremely, extremely more smooth. All right. So that is that. Um, yeah, Joe, I will give me a second. And don't let me forget, Joe, either. Um, the other thing is, and again, I try to preface this, it might be a waste of breath. I'm just trying to say this as a, you know, a reality and not as a blame game kind of a thing. But I think, hey, Kenneth, I think that folks enjoy the excitement of a giveaway type thing, right? Hey, raffle this off. Okay, so maybe you'll send me something. Okay, maybe you'll send me this George Brett, and you say, I want you to give this away. And you might say, give this away however you want to, or give this away to someone who bid in my auction. Keep in mind that, so now I have this, and I have to wait until your auction ends to see who has bid. Once the auction has ended, I now have to get in my app. I've got to type in potentially 20 different names to then do this. All of that takes time. And in that time of when it's dead air or I'm trying to figure this out, people stop paying attention and they get bored. So, I'm not saying not to do it. And hopefully, if you've already heard he's saying don't do it, I mean, come on, man, cut me some slack. Just listen to what I'm saying. If you want to do something like that, you got to give me enough time ahead of time so that I can have it planned out, and it can't be done like on the fly, because there's no fair, good way to do it on the fly without it taking up a lot of time, leading to bored people. All right. So if you want to do a bonus card, pre-attach it to a lot. That way it makes sense. You know, like if somebody buys a lot of Yankees cards, you don't want me to throw in a Red Sox card as a bonus. It would be pointless, and it'd be trash. So have it pre-assigned ahead of time. If you don't want it shown, or whatever, then that's fine. But you got to tell me that ahead of time. I like the way you handled it with the numbered sold on my giveaway. Yeah, doing 1, 2, 3. Again, though, Dwight, that was because you had given me some heads up. But a lot of times that doesn't happen, and it's very much like, boom, on the spot, give that away. And it's like, I don't know how to do that in the next 30 seconds without it becoming boring. So if you want to give something away, I'm 100% in favor of it. 100%. I love it. Just make sure we can do it in a visually enjoyable way. And on the fly generally is not that way because something has to be typed in somewhere and it takes up a ton of time. Along those lines, if you know in advance that you want to send something in to be gifted to folks, just talk to me ahead of time. I know I'm not going to say that person's name, but somebody just contacted me. They said they want to do giveaways. They realize the virus thing is an issue, and they try to like schedule it with me. I love that. Like that's awesome of you, because if you're gonna give stuff away, it takes time to show it, right? And I don't want to do what I've seen on other channels where they're like, "Oh, here, this is going to Terry," and it's like there's like 50 cards. Like you're just gonna and throw it away. I want to be able to go through them. You guys spent the time in putting those things together. I think that it's only right that you get to show your efforts. So just let me know, because a lot of times it can take an hour or 2 hours. So just a heads up so that I know I'm going to be doing that. Along those lines, I kind of feel like Cards and Coffee needs to get back to stuff like this, where it's actual discussion type stuff, and not purely auction part 1 and then at night auction part 2. So I might not be doing the auction preview thing and just let the auctions be a surprise. If you 100% feel like you got something you want people to know about, that's a different story. Just contact me, let me know. Otherwise, a lot of you have expressed an interest in getting back to normal chatting, Cards and Coffee type stuff. And we've kind of gotten away from that. I would like Sunday mornings to be chat, and if there are giveaways, that's what I would like Cards and Coffee to be. Chats and giveaways and gifts. I think it's more fun. That's totally fine, Kenneth. We get it. Everyone's on a different schedule. Before we get too far away from it, Joe. So, Joe, let me answer Joe's question about how many cards. And I will explain to you. I'll explain what it has been and why it has been that, because I always like to explain my reasoning for doing things, so that it's not just doesn't just seem like very haphazard. So I've always tried to honor the different dollar amounts of the Patreon packages by making it different for the different folks. So I want to say, and again, this is from memory. It's going to be in the posts when you get it. I'm just trying to, I'm working off memory here. I believe for the $15.99 guys, the maximum lot was 3 cards in a lot. I felt like 3 cards in a lot. It keeps it more focused, more enjoyable, and hopefully more, again, what Terry said, quality over quantity. And then, because I know that a lot of you guys do sometimes like to put together a larger lot, I've kind of left that last lot. So if a lightweight gets 5 lots of cards, lot number 5, they can go outside the 3 card lot rule. Then stepping up for the 25 and 39 guys, I think that I said 5 cards per normal lot. And then the last one can go outside of that. And then the last guys, I want to say it was like 7. And their last 2 lots could be bigger than that. I don't know how beneficial that's been, and I will say I would like to see if having the stuff kind of ready to be divvied up, if that speeds it up, then I'm not going to change anything. If it doesn't speed it up, then I would say I'd probably just do 3-card lots across the board. Same idea with the last lot or last 2 lots could go outside of that. And then obviously the giveaway cards, they don't count as part of the lot, obviously. So that's that and why. The only one that doesn't really have to stick to those rules would be the Philanthropist tier, and that's because that's literally what they're paying for, and it's the only tier that has an auction actually as what they pay for is the auction. David Henderson had made a comment about that the tier, the $15.99 tier, is sold out. It is sold out. Hey Frank, how are you? It is sold out. So I'm considering a way to add an additional day, smaller across the board. I think, David, do you think that's a help with speed, help with quality, or help with both? I do realize that there are folks out there who aren't in a tier that I have extended the courtesy of an auction to. I don't know how else to say it, but would like to have an auction. So I've thought about doing basically, if the Philanthropist tier pays for one day and it's all theirs, that maybe doing one where 5 of you can do an auction on your own day, but again, for a fee. Now, I don't. This is one of those things where, have you guys ever clicked on one of those YouTube videos where it's like, how much money did I make from that video? Right? Have any of you ever clicked on a video like that? Because it's interesting, right? Like you want to see like behind the scenes a little bit. And Michael P says both. Sometimes it seems like too many rounds, and if you're doing 3 guys, it can hurt. Agree. I agree. And I think that goes back, Michael, to being mindful of what you're sending in, right? I try to make it fair as far as like when you sign up. Obviously, everybody's excited for an auction. Everybody's excited for an auction when auction night happens. If you happen to sign up first, you're doing great, right? You're doing great because everybody, we got money burning a hole in our pocket. We just got our stimulus check, whatever. I'm joking, obviously, but you get the idea. I just started. I'm doing good. Now, if I'm person number 10 and I've got a Acuna, rookie card in there, I'm tapped out, man. Like I'm now broke by the time your really expensive card has gotten here. So that's something to be mindful of, and maybe that goes back to kind of what Kevin Tan had started off with, and that was the starting bid. It's true. Now, Michael, I would ask, and I'm not saying this as a smart ass. I'm just asking, like, in a real sense, do you guys have thoughts about how to solve that? Because if the solution is fewer people, I'm going to wind up being the one that gets people complaining too about losing the chance at the auction. That's just the reality of it. Shaka, I got my Gore packs yesterday. Pulled an Arenado Chrome 999 out of 2020 Heritage. Nice. And a Bonds rookie. I love hearing that stuff. So you guys get the idea, right? So I'm just gonna I'm gonna show you this real quick, all right? And then you guys can kind of see where I'm coming from here. And this is like a behind the scenes kind of a thing. All right. Okay, so here we go. Now, I'm just going to use this as an example. When people ask about what's going on. Yeah, Terry, unfortunately, that is true, right? So let's say that I'm in the $15.99 tier. This is the first tier. That makes sense, Joe. That was my original thinking for doing that, so you kind of knew what was going on. If you limit it to 10 rounds per with only 4 lots, that the bidding would increase and guys would be $20 cards for $4. I think if you limited 10 rounds per. So, Michael, are you talking about your tier? Because you're the only tier that's above 10 rounds. So 10 rounds for you, 4 cards per lot. I think that's what you're saying. If I'm mistaken, let me know. Okay, so if I'm paying $15.99, okay, to Patreon, you guys probably realize Patreon doesn't do Patreon for free. Patreon takes about 10% total. Okay, so take $1.60 off of this. So that goes down to what? $14.40. Okay, those of you that ship stuff, to be able to ship a package of stuff first class with tracking costs between $4 to $4.50, right? So now we're down to $10. Here is a typical package. Okay? I got my 3 new packs. I got my 1 premium old pack, and I have my bonus pack as well. Right? Because it's easier than doing the finding the random cards, because random cards would eventually start to suck. I mean, here's random. Terry, you get that. Barry, you get that. Drake, there you go. Shaka, there you go. Michael P, there you go. That would be crap. Like, I would be pissed off if you sent me a Tony Pena and a sticker. You know, sorry, Joe. I know it's a Met sticker, but you get the idea, right? Like, that is random. That would suck. So that's why we did this, right? So I don't have these all memorized, but I know that if I go to Target and I want to buy a single pack of Heritage, that's $3. So let's even say $2. $2. $2. Let's say that's 6. Let's say $1.50, and then let's say $1. Right? What was that, $8.50? That leaves $1.50. Okay, so I just need this to be like as transparent as possible. This is reality. If you've ever shipped anything, you know that it's about $4 or $4.50 to send. That is reality. Now, heaven forbid I use a box because that costs about $1. Can we kind of see what's going on here? So when it comes down to auctions, okay, when it comes down to auctions, if there was a misconception that like you're paying for it, like I said, it was just a thank you for being a part of the community. It really has nothing to do with this. It was just a way to see, you know, a path of getting more people into auctions. So as harsh as it might seem to like put it into just real numbers, that is real. That is real math. All right. So again, the only thing I'm asking is just to work with me to keep it going. Keep it going by making it smoother. I know a couple weeks ago, I probably spent 5 hours getting ready for auctions. Yeah. Okay. At the end of it all, we should know how to get stuff shipped to me cheaply and fast. How to get through the auctions fast, all the while facilitating the giveaways quickly. We know what we want to order off of Amazon to be ready for the auctions. We know what we can fit in a padded envelope and how many of the 300 count boxes we can fit in there, right? Save them. If I'm sending them to you, cool. You just saved yourself $1 by not having to go buy one. Who cares if it's pretty? Just get it to me. We know that hand sanitizer will take off writing off of a team bag so that you can reuse them if need be. We know that I'm going to try to get back to auctions as soon as possible, but I have got a daughter and a wife to worry about. And as much as I love you guys, I'm not going to get my kids sick. So send it to me in something that I can discard outside and then bring in the clean stuff inside. We know that you guys want quality cards over quantity of cards. We know we need starting bids. Probably want to stay away from reserves because it's a mystery and then it takes up a lot of time. UPS supplies, they are the best. Send back. The packing peanut thing is real. That's a real thing. The packing peanut struggle, that is real life. That is not as a simple solution as you might think. I flirted with selling cards and packs, couldn't afford the supplies. The only way, Michael, is bulk, and lots and lots and lots of time. It is not some fantastic moneymaker. If we somehow can find room to like debate this math, I don't know how much more clear to present this. Like, this is real math. Buy 2, get 1 free. So let's say, Frank the Tank, let's say you did that, right? 36 for $20. What, I don't even know what that is, right? What's that? More than 50 cents. Call it 60 cents an envelope. So if I was to send this in a good deal, 60-cent envelope, I'm now down to 90 cents. Again, like, the stuff doesn't ship itself, right? The box, the sleeves, the everything costs money. I don't even want to do any more math because I'd probably cry at the end of it. For those of you who are in the $9.99 tier and below, trust me when I say this. I'm not ignorant to the fact that some of you would like to have an auction. I get it. I 100% get it, and I'm definitely trying to work it out. I'm thinking of just making a new tier that is a blend of $15.99 and $9.99 to get you to auctions. I just need there to be an understanding of a 3-hour auction video and the time preparing. Nobody's paying for that. You know what I mean? Again, I understand if it's harsh, and I understand if we lose members or you know, maybe you came into the family like a little bit after all that stuff had been explained, and you're like, what a dick. Like, I thought that's why I got that tier. I get it. You know, here's what I liken it to. And this is coming from like my family complains to me about this. That their Christmas bonus wasn't good, you know, and I don't get a bonus. I've never gotten a bonus because, you know, teachers don't get bonuses. And, you know, just even the word bonus would imply that it's extra. However, if every single year you've gotten the same bonus and then one year you don't get the bonus, it does feel like something has been taken away from you. And I do feel like you have come to expect it because you always got it. And so I get it. If I was to one day say, no more auctions, that people would be pissed off. Now, I would say, well, it's not in a tier. And I always said this could happen. However, I realize that I've been doing them now for so long that people do have a reason and a right to kind of expect that it's going to happen. Makes sense. So I just need to have every once in a while this kind of a thing so that we can all kind of like reset back to square one. And again, I get it. If you were at a certain place in the tiers for that, and now you feel like, well, I'm not going to get it anymore, I'm going to drop down. I will 100% understand that decision. I get it. I'm not going to be mad about it. I hope you stay a part of the family. I 100% understand it. No hard feelings whatsoever. But there has always been a reason why I never put it in the tier, because there's going to come a time where it's not feasible, or it's going to be such a long drought by the time your auction time would roll back around again. You know, if I was to say, here's a, for instance, if I made a tier and the tier was $10 and you could have an auction, okay, and that's in the tier, $10, I get an auction. I'm not one of those guys that says, and I don't want to even want to talk about the guy, but there were people, and Terry, I know you've read these comments and you thought they were as much crap as I thought they were. If I put in a tier, I'm going to send you this stuff and you pay me, I owe you that stuff. There's no way around that. I owe it to you. It said it. Money. You paid it. I owe it to you. I can't, after the fact, come back and be like, well, you should just be doing it and not expect anything. Horseshit. That's crazy. No. If it says something and you pay money, friends or not friends, you're owed that thing. There's no debating that. That's what it is, right? So if I tell you in writing, you get an auction. If I tell you you get an auction and you pay this amount, and one day I wind up with 50 people paying that amount, I now owe 50 auctions. How in the world would I facilitate 50 auctions? That's all this channel would do is we'd just do auctions every single day. We'd never break cards. It would just be auctions. That's why I haven't done it, because once it's in writing, I owe it. I can't get sick that day and take it off. I can't go on vacation with my family and take it off. I owe it. And unless I cap it at, 10 people, you can see how this would snowball into a huge problem where I can no longer give you what I owe you in writing. And I don't want to be that guy. And I don't ever want to rely on, oh, well, Gore's a nice guy, so we'll let it go. That's crap too. Once money leaves your wallet, it is a business. It is a business at that point. And while there might be a friendship behind it, you have paid real money. Those aren't like friend monopoly dollars, right? Like that's real dollars. You're owed something. That's how I feel about it. That's why I do things like that. Auction's a way to liquidate assets at discounted rate. I don't think it's made to make money. You don't sell your favorite cards. You sell stuff you think someone else wants. Frank, I agree with you 100%. I also realize you probably know that some people do see cards as lottery ticket type stuff, right? Like they're not opening the pack to get, I'm going to use this card. They're not opening the pack to get their favorite young A's player, right? They're opening the pack to get a big payout to then buy the next thing. So, yeah, it goes both ways. Are you doing the random on tiers today? What do you mean by that, Dwight? And Terry, I'm going to mention that in a second as well. The only thing I'm doing involving tiers today, Dwight, I'm doing this. As soon as this video's done, this is getting released by tier, starting at the top, going down, 45 packs. Yes. The giveaway for the heavyweights and so on is happening tonight before this begins. I also need to do a long overdue giveaway of 2 silver packs from Topps Update because I've had it sitting here forever. That's 100% my bad, but I never forgot about it. I just never put the thing together. So that's happening tonight too. We'll get all caught up with giveaways. So you got a chance at your big name Hall of Fame auto tonight. That's happening as well. Terry helps everyone out. Spend money here, keep it here. Yes, it's at 7. Cool, Cena. That's what I've been trying to do. So, I mean, if we're all going to be completely honest here, right? Like, there's always going to be a better deal somewhere else. That's real life, right? I mean, if I spend enough time on the internet, I can probably save myself a buck or two. Now, the Gypsy Queen hobby boxes the other night, right? I could have bought them from an online eBay store, whatever, and saved myself probably $2 or $3 per box. Or I buy them from my card store, who is currently closed down and really might go out of business. So what do? Right? If Dwight is going to sell a card and it's at $5, but you just found it on eBay for $4, I would think and hope it's worth the $1 or the $2, or in my case, the $3. It's going to be in the giveaway tonight, or not the giveaway, the pack break tonight, Frank. I would think under these kind of circumstances, help out the local guy, right? Like, buy the card from another Patreon member. Might cost you another buck, but really, like, it's $1, right? Like, it's not you're saving $25 or something. Like, we're talking like $1, right? Like, if Barry's got a pack sale, like, I'd rather spend it with him, and instead of saving myself $1, got to drive to Walmart, risk getting like the super flu, because I saved $1, like, woo, $1. Like, I get it. There's other deals out there. That's why I have asked that we just completely stop. Like, hey, you're doing a break on your channel. It's great. I genuinely wish you all the luck in the world, but feel free to talk about it on your own channel. You saw a sale somewhere else on, I don't even know, Inception boxes. Cool. That's totally fine. Go buy that. But this kind of like, this is over here, this is over there, this is there, this is there. I get that it's we're just kind of talking, but helping out your local store or whatever, or your fellow Patreon member, we're usually talking about the difference of like $1 or $2. It for the next few weeks or whatever, help out your local guy, I don't think that's crazy, and I know that probably sounds preachy, but it's an unfortunate reality that's happened within the chat. And the only reason why I bring it up is because I feel like if it's not said and it becomes situation by situation by situation, somebody's going to do it and nothing gets said. The next guy does it, something gets said. That guy inevitably feels picked on. And it's like, well, this wishy-washiness of expectations isn't cool. And it's not. The rules, I guess, should be consistent, as well as the meaning behind them. Okay. So you guys kind of get the idea for tonight. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to post 45 packs. All these cards are going to be in there. This is not debatable. Brett, Stewart, Griffey, Gwynn, traded John Kruk. All this kind of stuff is going to be in there. I've been and would rather buy here than seek out deals elsewhere. David, I'm sure that a lot of folks appreciate that. I know I definitely do appreciate that. We have not been immune to, the downturn, as I guess, if we could call this a small business. It's a reality, so I know that there's going to be, never mind. I'm not going to get into the whole stimulus thing, but these cards will be in there as well tonight. You just wish you could send, if there's, you can always just email me, Frank, if there's, I don't know if that was geared towards me or not, but let me know. These cards are going to be in there tonight. This is not if maybes. This is definitely in there. 45 total packs. These 6 cards, Adley Rushman, Juan Soto, Hura, Strawberry, Dylan Cease, and Carter Keyboom. These are in there. This is not debatable. A bunch of cool stuff, vintage stuff, and a twist, as usual, a twist as well. All right, and the twist will be kind of coming from what I thought you guys enjoyed last time. It's not just completely out of my imagination. All right, guys, so I'm going to post this immediately. Again, this falls under the specialty break thing, so we're starting at the top and going down. Normal breaks, we open it wide up. This is my my one thing that's in there on the tiers, all right? So stay tuned for that. No more than 4 on the first go-around. Once I've gotten to the bottom, if there's any left, then anyone can buy, and I will keep it updated as we go. There'll be a list, and you'll be able to see. Make sure you claim it before you send money. If you don't claim it, and you send me money and somebody claims it but hasn't paid yet, I've got to follow what everybody can see on Patreon. If they can all read the comments, they can do the math. I can't go, oh, well, I got this payment over here. Okay. The only exception is the Philanthropist tier, because that's the only one that works a little bit differently. All right. So, guys, stay tuned for that. Thank you for letting me rant this morning. Hopefully, it did more good than harm. If something I said rubbed you the wrong way, I get it. I can't phrase things the 100% best way for every person. I get it. No hard feelings. And if this is the end of the road for you and I, again, I understand it. No hard feelings. But if there was ever anything that was like, did he just say that? Or what did you mean? I would at least hope that you would ask me first before getting upset. But it's real life, and I can't always get everything I want. So, again, you guys get it. If we ever need to refer back for auctions, this is now an hour-and-a-half video that all the auction stuff will be forgotten about. But I think you get the idea. All right? Stay tuned, guys, and big night tonight as well with a lot of fun, I hope. Have a good Sunday. Stay dry, stay safe. Don't get the cooties. Oh, hold on. Frank, hey, Gore, there is a reason you're my only. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. And Joe, hopefully you can just kind of tune out the ranty, preachy parts and just remember the useful parts, I hope. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Try to relax and get ready for tonight. Should be a fun night. All right, guys. Take care.